Just over a decade ago, a good friend of mine, a school friend who I'd grown up with, passed away unexpectedly just after their 30th birthday. And that's one of the 5 reasons that I'm going to share with you today why I'm retiring at 45. That shattered the illusion that we all have time for me. And it was really the kickstart that I needed to take things into my own hands and make a change. And I'm going to share the 5 reasons why waiting until 67 is no longer an option for me, and I'm going to get out in the next 4 years at 45 while I've still got time on my side. So let's get into it. That is the first reason, and probably the most compelling reason that started it all. So I'd lost a friend very unexpectedly just after their 30th birthday. Come as a shock to me and everybody who knew him. And it made me realise and shattered the illusion that we all have time. We think we do. We think we'll put it off until tomorrow. We always think there'll be another opportunity to do that, and unfortunately that isn't always the case. And sadly he didn't get that opportunity. He won't get to see his kids grow up. He won't get to retire. It's tragic and sad, but unfortunately that is the harsh reality of the world that we live in, and none of us have tomorrow isn't promised for any of us. So that was the first thing and the reason why I started this, to make that change and make the most of the time that I have. And I want to share the rest of the reasons with you now as well. So the second reason as well, which is was a big one for me, was how much of our time we do exchange for money. Working every hour that God sends, not spending as much time with our loved ones, our friends and family. And that's employment. That's normal for most people. Work for 40, 50 years in the hope that you'll get 10 or 15 good years in retirement. And I'm quite fortunate. I don't dislike my job, but nor does it really light my fire. It's great as in it pays the bills and it's a good job, but it's not my passion. I didn't grow up as a child wanting to do this. Everybody wants to be an astronaut or a firefighter or whatever next, and this wasn't the choice that I wanted. So that's the big thing for me, to have time to do things that I want to do, follow my passions, my projects, and spend time with people that I love and want to spend time with. So again, 45 is a good age for me to do that, where I've still hopefully got a lot of good, healthy years ahead of me where I can do all those exciting things that I want to do. So that was kind of the second reason that I wanted to do it. And the third, come along halfway into my journey of pursuing early retirement, which was kids. My kids are now 3 and 5 year old. And if anybody has kids at that age, you'll know how amazing but challenging those ages are in equal measure. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'm the absolute apple of my eye, both my little girls. However, it's hard, but I also appreciate that I go to work every day. They go to bed just after 7 o'clock, so we have a very small window of time to spend with them. Weekends are great, but they don't last very long. I want to spend as much time as possible with them and have experiences. At the moment, I'm one of their favourite people, and they love spending time with me. I'm acutely aware of the fact that won't last forever. At some point, they'll be spending time with their friends. I won't be cool anymore. And I think there's a terrifying stat that says you spend most of the time with your kids before their age of 14, which I can imagine is true. So for me, being able to retire at 45 means we'll be able to take 6 weeks holidays and go away together as a family when they do. And I'll just be able to make sure we can spend time together and have experiences. I'm not looking to scrimp on things like experiences. I don't mind spending money. Yes, I'm focused on living relatively frugally and trying to invest and get more money, as I've shared in the other videos, but I also know where I need to splurge, and things like experiences are certainly that. The other one to share with you is, again, parent-child relationship, but the different one. I'm super fortunate that my parents are both still alive. But again, the time I have to see with them is very limited. If I see them once or twice a week, then I'm super fortunate. We live very close together. It's just time gets in the way. I've also seen them experience retirement and spend more time together. They spend time with friends, they do hobbies and really seem to enjoy it. And I'm maybe a little bit envious of that as well. But, I'm aware that they won't be around forever. I'm very fortunate that they are still here. They're both in their 70s. And I want to make the most of that. I don't want to have to schedule a holiday or take time off to go and have a coffee with them on a Tuesday afternoon and spend some time with them. Because sometimes now, and it pains me to say it a little bit, but sometimes it can be a chore because you've got so many things going on: work, the kids, the school run, the kids after school clubs, any hobbies or anything that I want to do as well. And there's just not enough time in the day sometimes, or it certainly feels that way. And sometimes going to see them or spending time with them can feel hard to do, and sometimes a little bit of a chore. And I don't want that to be the case. Again, the time I've got left with my parents is diminishing all of the time. I know they're not going to be around forever, so I want to make the most of that and spend time with them, and again, have experiences with them. It's a bit of a morbid video, this one, isn't it? It's not what I intended, but I think it's putting things into perspective, of making the most, seizing the day, being grateful for what I have. And the other reason, so again, the fifth reason I want to share was a bit of a personal story. In 2020, just after the initial lockdown hit, I got a notification on my Apple Watch saying I had an irregular heartbeat. I'd only recently bought the watch, hadn't had it long, so I don't know if it had been something that had been long standing. But I got that notification, which started the medical investigations, finding out what it was, and it turned out I had atrial fibrillation, which is an irregular heartbeat. And that was 5 or 6 years ago now, and I've been under treatment since. Unfortunately, my heart works as normal now, thanks to the great doctor in the NHS. But that was a real eye-opening moment, caused a lot of anxiety for me. Really made me think about how vulnerable we all are. I also become a father for the first time around then, which kind of amplified that. And again, that just kind of confirmed what I knew. Like, nobody's promised tomorrow. We need to make the most of this, and kind of put me right on that path to retiring at 45. And I am on track. And if you look at some of my other videos, you'll talk about that. I hope to retire in 4 years and have total freedom to do what I want. And those are the 5 reasons for me. I'm sorry it's a bit of a morbid one, this one, but I think it's important, that we all kind of face what can be a very harsh reality of life. I'm not saying that, this is going to happen to any of us, but it could happen to any of us. And I think that's the incentive that we all need, just to make the most of things. And that's certainly what it's, incentivized me to do and why I've done this. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and it, shares some of the motivations behind why I'm so aggressive in my pursuit of that kind of financial independence and having that freedom. If you do, follow along. This is very beginnings of this channel, only video number 3. I'm very committed to making this a long-term thing, and I'm going to be sharing the journey with you, both financially and maybe a bit emotionally like this, and some of the motivations behind it. So if you enjoyed the video, then, check it out, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.